Okay, this is my formal happy winter break to all the teachers out there. I'm hoping that you've already started because I think we were one of the last schools. So I'm super excited, and one of the goals that I set for myself every year is to have my house smelling like mulled wine every day of break. Now, I'll be honest, I'll probably do it maybe 4 or 5 times over break. I usually start off really good and then I kind of, it doesn't happen. But I plan to try to do more with potpourri. So I'm going to show you how I make my favorite mulled spice, or kind of a hot wine, and give you some tips on how to make yours extra amazing at home. But I have to start talking about this enameled cast iron milk pan. So I was making a Christmas gift for somebody last night, and I had to run up and kind of put Nico to bed, and I literally was gone for like 5 minutes. And in that time, I was actually reducing some wine to what was going to be syrup. But in the time that I went to put him to bed, it totally burnt on the bottom, and I was like, oh my gosh, because I was planning on doing this demo last night, and I was so upset because it was really stuck on there. And so I did kind of the normal clean of like how you clean a normal cast iron pan, which is typically like baking soda and salt if there's something on there, and then you give it a good scrub, and it didn't work. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like one of my favorite pans, I don't even know what I'm gonna do. So what I love about these enameled pans is I was like, you know what, new day tomorrow, I'm gonna let it soak overnight and I'll figure it out in the morning. So didn't have time this morning, but I got home from school and I had the water in there all day. I literally touched it with my finger and all the black scraping, and it was like hardcore on there, burnt sugary wine, all gone. I mean, look at that. Now, this is one of the great things about enameled cast iron. So cast iron and water do not get along. Like, they're not friends, and that's how you will typically see like a rust build up, especially if it's an old cast iron that hasn't been used in a long time. Now, the enameled cast iron is not going to have that problem, and in fact, the water doesn't bother it at all. So it soaked literally for almost 24 hours, and it was fine. The only part of exposed cast iron that you see is around the rim here, and so it can go in the dishwasher. It can sit and soak in the sink. And then the only one that you want, or the only part that you want to kind of baby, is this top part that is kind of the raw cast iron. So this part, I did make sure, after I washed it, just to dry it off. And I literally like rubbed my hand on it and then rubbed a towel on it, and it's totally fine. But like, I absolutely love this. This is a holiday piece, and so it's going to be gone with the year. So if you ever make like small amounts of any type of liquid anything, this has been my go-to pan since I got it in October. I absolutely love it for heating up some soup. I love it for heating up some hot chocolate. I was trying to reduce this wine last night for some syrup, or today we're gonna make the mulled wine. So let's get going with my milk pan. All right. First of all, I recommend starting with a wine that you like. Now, if you read anywhere online, they will tell you to use a wine that is typically a little bit drier, or you can use like a cheap wine. But my advice for everything, I'm using my wine opener, my advice for everything is go with the wine that you like, because worst case scenario, you can always just drink the wine and you already know that you're liking the base of it. Now, for this wine opener, I haven't charged it in, I don't even know the last time I charged it, and it has so much power. I love this color, and it's easy out and easy done. And then I just store it, not even charged, in my kitchen at all times, so I'm always ready to go. So I have some Cooper's Hawk Winter Red. This is a natural kind of spiced wine, and I don't even have this on yet. It's a natural kind of spiced wine, but it's a really, really light spice. They only sell it around the holidays, but I feel like it is the absolute perfect wine just as is. Now, this is not a trick. I'm not just gonna stop there, but if you did want just kind of a really, really light spice, this Winter Red, it's not expensive, especially compared to other Cooper's Hawk wines, and just a little heat, and it gives you that nice kind of warmth without adding all the extra ingredients. Now, if you do want to add some extra ingredients, I'm gonna show you kind of my favorites. So first of all, the number one, if you add nothing else, is cinnamon. Now, we do have the most amazing cinnamon that I'm obsessed with, but I really like the look of when it's just boiling away on the stove, and so I like to use some cinnamon sticks. Now, you can use one, you can use more, but I like to look at them, and I also like to put them in the glass when I'm drinking. I'm making a video. All right, so cinnamon sticks. Number two that you can't go without is some orange wedges. So I made something with orange the other day, and so I'm just adding what's left. So I cut them up the other day, and I just put them in the fridge to keep them nice. And already like just with, and I kind of buried my cinnamon sticks there, but just cinnamon sticks and the orange, and it's already so beautiful. All right, the next thing, and these next two are ones that I don't use very often. So these were purchased last year. I want to say each bag was like $6 or $7 on Amazon, and I really only use it around the holidays, but it gives such an amazing flavor when I do make the mulled wine that it's definitely a great purchase. So if you're local, I will gladly give you some of these. Otherwise, you don't have to use them. They just add a little something extra, and they're really pretty. So first one is allspice. Now it's not the powdered allspice, which you can use, but it's these little pods. So I just like to throw a couple of those in there, and I don't measure, I don't count anything. As you notice when I put the wine in, I just kind of poured some in and actually didn't do enough. It's already so pretty. Like, you can't really see that, but it's so pretty. But I'm not done. Some star anise is the next one. Now, anise is the flavor for black licorice. I can't stand it, but what I love about these is how beautiful they are. So I love to make holiday drinks, and throwing one of these into holiday drinks immediately makes it look fancy and festive and fun, which is kind of the vibe I'm going for when it's the holidays. So try to keep those on top because they're beautiful. I don't put a whole lot in because you can taste that flavor, but obviously you can taste it even more if you put more in. All right, the next one. Yes, honey?
I want my baba.
Okay, I'll give you one just a second. The next one is cloves. Now cloves, again, whole cloves.
Mom.
The smell is amazing. Hold on, buddy. And these I definitely, see, good thing I put them in my hand. I was gonna put way too many in. It's one of those you have to have in there. I typically go a little heavy on this one because I love, put a couple more in. I love cloves. You go just a second. And then the last major thing that I put in there is cardamom. And I don't have cardamom, like the full pod. I think it's a pod or a seed. But this gives, it's kind of a nice like chai tea flavor. So if you do drink chai tea, like put this on top, it's so good. So I just do a couple little shakes of the cardamom in there. Now, if you do want to do a little bit more, cranberries in it are amazing. And then a lot of people like to spike, which sounds kind of an oxymoron-ish. A lot of people like to spike their mulled wine, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it's liquor. But what I would recommend, a lot of people spike it with brandy, but I really prefer to kind of amp up the sweetness in a lot of things that I drink, or if somebody else is making it with like a dry red, since I'm not a dry red fan, I like to add some triple sec. Now I'm not going to add it now, but when I do serve this for the holidays, I make sure to always have these out so that people can add it to their liking. And that's it. So this is my spiced wine. Key for a spiced wine or for a mulled wine is to not let it boil. If you let it boil and you have it on kind of a heat that's too high, it's going to reduce like I was doing last night, and it's going to make it really, really dry. Some people also add some sugar to this or some other kind of sugar substitute like a honey or an agave nectar or something. I don't think that it needs it, but I also am starting with a sweet wine, and again, I'm always starting with the wine that I like, and if I like it already, I don't want to add a lot of extra. I just want to add that extra spice. So we'll see how many times over break I end up making this wine, but I've been off school for all of like 2 hours, so I'd say I'm doing pretty good. I'm going to show you how this looks. Look at how amazing that looks. And you can't even see, it's not hot. I don't even see the finger there. It's not hot, but I want you to see, those cinnamon sticks in there. I shouldn't have put them in first. Where did the cinnamon sticks go? Okay, they're in there, but like this just makes me happy. Makes me so happy. It's gonna taste so good, and on a cold night, it makes me happy from the inside out. So I hope you have a happy holidays. I'll definitely be back because I'm on break, which means I can do all the fun things. So until we speak again, bye.